After a long winter drought, the Northeast is finally hit with a snowstorm. And an impasse over pirated CDs and other goods triggers a U.S. trade war with China. This is the CBS Evening News. And this is Bob Schieffer reporting tonight from Washington. Good evening. Well, the first real storm of winter roared across the Midwest and into the Northeast today. It dumped 16 inches of snow in some places, closed down airports, and iced over highways in others. We're starting tonight with the weather story, and our first report comes from Troy Roberts, who's at New York's LaGuardia Airport. Troy?
Bob, the first snowstorm of the season brought the usual misery among air travelers and motorists and the usual rejoicing among snow lovers who got what they've been waiting for all winter.
It's okay. We're going. We're taking off. I hope.
Air traffic began moving again at most major airports in the Northeast by mid-afternoon. The short break in the winter storm gave crews time to clear runways, and carriers began putting their flight schedules together again. But for many passengers stranded by delays and cancellations, it's a challenge to get to where you want to go to on time.
I'm an attorney, and you can be sure they're going to have a lawsuit on their hands.
The first winter storm of the season arrived as if it was making up for lost time. In short order, it dumped up to a foot of snow or more in some parts of New York, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. Coastal residents were slapped by rough seas that produced minor flooding and beach erosion. Gusty winds were also responsible for scattered power outages. The snow, sleet, and rain combination created hazardous driving conditions. Minor accidents were reported in several states. In New York, snow removal teams that sat idle for most of winter hit the streets in caravans digging out neighborhoods. And retailers opened their store doors early, preparing for brisk business.
People have been buying a lot of ice scrapers for their cars, a lot of shovels, a lot of salt.
Once again, navigating around flooded street corners proved to be a challenge. Still, even with wet shoes and cold feet, the snow's arrival seemed to bring more grins than groans.
This is just a drop in the bucket compared to last winter.
Last winter at this time, the snowfall in parts of the Northeast had reached 19.5 inches, easily topping the 0.2 of an inch that had fallen before today. Still, it's enough to turn New York's Central Park into a picture postcard and stir the emotions of the snow-deprived.
I love waking up in the middle of the night and watching the snow fall. It's just great.
It's easy to romanticize the first big snowfall of the season, but those feelings may change with the next weather problem. Frigid temperatures and gusty winds are forecast for much of the Northeast tomorrow. Bob?
And how long will it be before they think the travel schedules are back to normal, Troy?
Probably late tomorrow. I know air traffic is moving pretty well at most of the major airports in the tri-state area. Passengers are finding their problems with connecting flights. So the best advice, of course, is to call your carrier.
Thank you very much, Troy. Of course, one town's curse can be another's blessing, and nowhere is that more true than in North Conway, New Hampshire today, where they've actually been praying for a storm. Really. Diana Olick is there, and we go now to her. Diana?
Well, Bob, ski resort towns like this one all over New England haven't seen snow like this all season. And this town had some big plans for this weekend, and that's why the folks here all day yesterday were begging for a storm like this. It's a simple request, especially for the town of North Conway, New Hampshire, which is normally buried under about 40 inches of snow this time of year.
Oh, this is strange.
In fact, an almost unique winter.
Right now, the January, December is running about second warmest on record.
Which has meant fewer people on the slopes and in the stores.
If they're out on the golf course playing golf, it's difficult to convince them that we've got great skiing up here.
We already have bathing suits out, so we're trying to aim toward the summer, if not the winter.
The lack of snow also threatened to ruin what was hoped to be a record year at the annual Easter Seal Snowmobile Ride-In.
We thought with no snow, it's just going to make our donations go down and not have as much as we did.
But townspeople pulled together, and the local ski area donated snowmakers.
This is the thing that makes living in a small town fun.
What they've done, in a sense, is salvage the ride-in.
And this additional gift from Mother Nature salvaged the donations, which helped more than 100 kids go to summer camp.
I'd love to take her for a ride.
pendulum goes back and forth. It doesn't take long for the pendulum to come back.
And it's definitely returned with an expected 2-foot blizzard force vengeance.
Actually, I think it's nice we haven't had much snow this year. Yeah. About time.
And it is about time, they say here, and this storm is expected to take its time. It could last into tomorrow afternoon, and they also feel that there are going to be very strong blizzard-like winds later on tonight, and that'll, of course, mean drifting in many areas. Back to you, Bob.
Well, of course, they wanted snow, but I wonder, has this been too much too late, Diana? Is there any resort business left up there?
Well, the people up here say that if they can get the snow to stay longer, that is until late March, then possibly they could recoup. They say now they've lost about 10% of their normal business for this time of year.
All right. Thank you very much, Diana. Well, the trade war with China that many feared has apparently started, saying that China ignored U.S. requests to crack down on Chinese manufacturers who've been counterfeiting U.S. products and selling them at cut-rate prices throughout Asia. The administration today slapped 100% tariffs on most Chinese products coming into this country. That, of course, will double their prices in U.S. stores. China immediately responded by slapping similar tariffs on U.S. goods sold in China. Cheryl Atkinson has our report.
In announcing U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports, Trade Representative Mickey Cantor today used a grab bag of props, from creamed corn that looks like Del Monte's to cornflakes that look like Kellogg's.
This is Congaloo flakes.
To computer software, all of which the U.S. says China is copying in violation of copyright laws.
This is a pirated product widely distributed in China. This, of course, is the copyrighted product produced here in the United States.
To fight back, Cantor slapped 100% tariffs on Chinese products in 35 categories, doubling the wholesale prices, for example, of Chinese answering machines, cellular phones, and sporting goods, including bicycles. Cantor says the tariffs will encourage American consumers to buy those products from other sources.
We don't believe this will have any impact whatsoever on consumer prices in this country.
But it's intended to have an impact on China's economy, which now ships 40% of its exports to the U.S. Cantor hopes the sanctions, scheduled to begin at the end of the month, will force China to crack down on its bootleggers.
The Chinese know what they must do.
But what the Chinese did today was announce their own retaliation. 100% tariffs on many goods the U.S. sends to China, like tobacco and alcohol. But there are still 3 weeks to negotiate an agreement.
I view all of this as a lot of saber rattling on both sides. I mean, the deadline is set now, and it's up to both sides to come to the table and work out a deal.
China and the United States have a vested interest in making a deal. The U.S. is China's largest trading partner, and the last thing the Clinton administration wants is a trade war that would undermine this emerging economic partnership. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, the White House.
In Toronto, the so-called Group of Seven nations today endorsed the $50 billion rescue package from Mexico. Finance officials of the world's leading industrial powers said they're now totally satisfied with the bailout. But earlier this week, 6 European allies abstained when the International Monetary Fund approved the U.S. brokered package. Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, surprises on both sides. First week of testimony in the O.J. Simpson trial. And Italians thank an American family who made a special gift after the killing of their son.
Okay, if the moon was really made out of cheese, I'd be an astronaut. Healthy Choice makes real cheese with skim milk, so it's naturally fat-free. I put it on practically everything. With Healthy Choice, I eat what I like. Cheese.
Is the gray in your mustache or beard making you look too old? Now there's Just for Men Brush-In Color Gel, specially for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. This brush-in gel stays put to penetrate hard-to-color hair. In 5 minutes, rinse. Your mustache or beard blends with your natural hair color, and it won't fade or wash out.
Now that's a lot better.
Just for Men Color Gel, from the leader in men's hair coloring.
I'm 62. Can I still help prevent osteoporosis?
It's never too late to help prevent osteoporosis with Caltrate.
I'm over 40. Can calcium help me?
It's never too late for Caltrate. New Caltrate Plus is uniquely formulated with 20% more calcium per tablet than any leading brand. And only Caltrate Plus has 6 added nutrients essential for healthy bones. So whatever your age,
It's never too late for Caltrate.
Chances are it will outlast your car and your furnace and your roof. There's no telling what your Moen faucet might outlast. Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
The owners have lifted a major hurdle in the baseball strike, the salary cap, but the players don't seem quite ready yet to put their caps on. Heading into talks today, negotiators for the players said they are now working out a response to the owners. President Clinton has set a Monday deadline for a settlement. Both sides in the O.J. Simpson trial are preparing to go back to court Monday after a bruising first week of testimony. Although the prosecution worked hard to tear down Simpson's image, some observers believe it is the lawyers who are coming off badly. Reed Galen reports from Los Angeles.
It may be the trial of the century, but neither side looked completely prepared as testimony finally began this week.
It just looks like coming out of the box. They're both kind of stumbling around trying to find their footing.
The defense especially has not impressed experienced observers.
You're not really this man's friend, are you, sir?
Attorney Carl Douglas's courtroom demeanor reflects his flair for dramatics away from the courtroom.
Please take a moment and say a prayer for an innocent man. I thank you.
But other defense advocates know it is dangerous to protest too much, as perhaps with witness Ron Shipp.
So all he was really going to say was that O.J. said he had a dream, a bad dream about killing her, or dreams. But the defense made him far more important than he was by challenging him for a day and a half the way they did.
You are going to enhance the name of Ron Shipp around the world.
Just like you're enhancing Carl Douglas.
It's not known if O.J. Simpson himself will eventually testify, but his words may come back to haunt him anyway. CBS News has learned prosecutors will subpoena the audio outtakes from his book on tape, already a bestseller.
All right, let's have the jury.
The trial resumes Monday with an important matter the jury will not hear. Debate about another possible blood test on those socks found in O.J. Simpson's bedroom. Nicole Simpson's blood is on those socks. The defense says it may have been put there later in a frame-up. But if that happened, prosecutors say the new test would reveal a chemical used in Nicole Simpson's autopsy. They are pushing for the test.
If the prosecution can show by this test that there's no way that blood was planted on these socks, that really can blow away the defense.
When the jury returns Monday, Nicole Brown Simpson's sister will continue her testimony.
Picked her up, threw her against a wall.
Denise Brown left jurors with an indelible image to ponder over the weekend. Johnny Cochran said it was staged by the prosecution, but she is obviously a witness that he must approach carefully. Reed Galen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
In Mankato, Minnesota, thousands of students are receiving strong doses of antibiotics tonight to stop the spread of meningitis. A 15-year-old high school student died Friday from an infection linked to meningitis. 5 children and a 64-year-old woman have been hospitalized. More problems today for the Discovery space shuttle. A second steering thruster has developed a fuel leak. The leaks could curtail Monday's scheduled flyby rendezvous with the Russian space station.
When it comes to great resorts, nothing beats a Carnival cruise. All your daytime fun, all your nighttime shows and entertainment, and all your foods included too in one low price. Reach, what are you doing here?
You have to ask?
I think I do have to ask.
I mean,
yes.
after all these years, if it could see me now.
It must be working, huh?
It's working on me.
Take a 3, 4, or 7-day vacation on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world.
You're right, Kathy. It's a fun shit.
Ma, you've got to get some sleep. Did you get the Unisom I told you? Unisom. The gel ones. It's over the counter. No, it's not habit forming. I spoke to the doctor already. Ma, am I going to tell you to take something that isn't safe? All right. I love you too.
Tak se snažím sehnat ten nový operační systém Chicago. Pořád odaluji jeho uvedení na trh.
Ten nový OS2 pod IBM se zdá být vynikající.
OS2
Zrovna jsem o něm četla v časopise. Máte tam opravdový multitasking? Snadný přístup do internetu.
Hrozně ráda bych tu síť vyzkoušel. Oh, to je můj beeper.
I'm Charles Osgood. They died out thousands of years ago, but a vivid record of their deeply spiritual life remains. Ancient art by the people of the Pecos River Valley this Sunday morning.
President Clinton unveils his new federal budget on Monday. The White House gave a briefing on it today, and among other things, they say it will reduce spending by $144 billion over 5 years and will merge 271 government programs into 27. That's not enough, say the Republicans. Well, there is nothing quite like thinking you've got plenty of money only to find out just the opposite, that you're deeply in debt, which is why tonight's Washington Notebook is about Washington and how it found out just that this week.
I'm the bearer of bad news.
That is perhaps the understatement of the decade. Washington, D.C.'s mayor disclosed this week that the District of Columbia is not only broke, but has run up $722 million in bills it cannot pay, which, he said, will require yet another federal bailout.
The survival of our city is at stake. The survival of Washington, D.C. as we know it is at stake.
The astonishing thing is, until Barry's announcement, no one professed to even know the deficit was out of control. Stupid bookkeeping and poor management aside, there are now tragic choices to be made. Just listen to George Bush's former housing secretary on TV today.
They are cutting prenatal care for women with diabetes, education. They're cutting just about everything to the bone. The tax base has shrunk, bond rating has collapsed.
With its ballooning medical bills for the poor, its high crime rate, and its narrowing tax base, 70% of its wage earners head for the suburbs each night, the nation's capital has become the problem no one wants or knows what to do about. The new Republican speaker wondered aloud this week about giving it to Maryland.
I'm very willing tomorrow morning to support a bill to give the residents of D.C. federal voting rights in Maryland.
Thanks, but no thanks, responded Maryland politicians.
Well, Maryland doesn't want the District of Columbia. We don't believe that we have to pay the bills if we didn't create the problem.
For sure, the Republican Congress is not overly sympathetic.
Marion Barry's been very clear over the last couple of days. He doesn't think the city can cut and manage its way out of this problem.
Well, they're going to have to.
But Gingrich himself knows this one can't be dismissed out of hand.
We have to rethink how we approach our national capital. We cannot tolerate the level of violence and the level of brutality and the level of degradation which is happening to our children.
Gingrich hasn't decided just what the right approach is yet, but an expert says the situation has grown so bad it may force an answer.
It takes a crisis to mobilize people to start to think of solutions.
And today, Kemp offered his plan, a broad range of free enterprise proposals to rejuvenate the Washington economy and to keep wage earners from moving elsewhere, everything from a freeze on property taxes to
treating District of Columbia as we treat Puerto Rico and the territories, as no federal income tax, no capital gain tax, but put a Hong Kong type flat tax of 15 or 16%.
Even Kemp's solution would require help and a lot more control from the federal government, but he believes that if a Republican Congress can solve the district's problems, it will show Republicans really care about people. In fact, whoever solves this mess will be called more than caring. They'll be looked on as miracle workers.
Ever notice how when you're comfortable, everything feels right? Well, your friends at Depend have been working on comfort. Your comfort. Introducing new Depend undergarments with a cloth-like outer cover. Look, it's softness you can see, softness you can feel. For the most comfortable protection ever from Depend. Protection you trust. New cloth-like comfort. Depend, because you've got a lot of living to do.
Over the last few years, a lot of people have seen their investments drop in value. Unfortunately, that's life. Our annuities have held their value and consistently paid higher rates than CDs. That's New York Life. New York Life, the company you keep.
sparkling ship on crystal waters is coming.
For me, that island was something I'll never forget.
A once-in-a-lifetime is coming. Experience that goes back to the Vikings is coming.
I'll make it faster.
Brand new feeling is coming. An island you can call your own is coming.
I loved it. I didn't want to come home. Gosh, they were gorgeous, those islands.
You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
How hard will Republicans fight the president's budget and minimum wage hike? Senator Trent Lott, Congressman Bob Livingston, and Clinton economic advisor Laura Tyson face the nation Sunday.
UN peacekeepers in Bosnia said today that Bosnian Serbs again are harassing aid convoys trying to reach Muslim enclaves. Such actions are prohibited by terms of the truce that took effect on New Year's Day. Also, the UN says as many as 20 Serbian helicopters landed inside Bosnia to resupply Bosnian Serbs in what's called a flagrant violation of Serbia's pledge to stay out of the Bosnian war. Russian warplanes patrolling the skies of breakaway Chechnya came under fire today from rebel positions near Grozny. Officials confirm that for the first time in the two-month air war, Chechnyan rebels shot down a Russian warplane with anti-aircraft guns. A pilot was killed. Wreckage littered a wide area. With thousands of people who fled floodwaters in Holland returning to their homes this weekend, attention is focusing now on ways to minimize the effect of future flooding there. Barry Peterson has a report on that.
This was cleanup day across northern Europe, digging out from some of the worst floods this century. In Holland, the alert is still on. Officials say dikes remain waterlogged and weakened. High-tech aerial reconnaissance photographs spot danger points along the dike.
Light spots here indicate where it's very wet, and these fields are completely soaked with the water.
And the flood is triggering a long-fought debate. Is it time these centuries-old dikes be reinforced?
After this disaster, we will see, I hope, that the politicians take the lessons and make now the possibility for us to do the job quickly.
Just as dangerous, the massive urbanization along Europe's rivers. Rainwater no longer soaks into the ground. It roars through streets into already swollen rivers. A trickle on the German Rhine can become a billion-dollar flood on the Waal in Holland. The answer, insist environmentalists, is not more concrete, lining the riverbanks and dikes.
Work with and respect nature. Do not enter into head-on confrontation. That is not a battle we are going to win.
Algira Bach believes the answer may be found in the past. Simple stones lined the dikes for centuries.
I think the stones are good enough.
The old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way. They used these stones for centuries.
For years, environmentalists have had the upper hand. But after all of this, and after the anger of those hundreds of thousands forced to flee their homes, those who want to see dramatic changes may finally take the day. Barry Peterson, CBS News, near Warwick, Holland.
Washington, D.C., the country's top-ranked University of Massachusetts basketball team was upset by George Washington today, 78-75. President Clinton watched the game with his daughter Chelsea. He appeared to have his emotions under control. He usually gets excited when he watches an Arkansas game.
You know what I hate? Pain. That's why I love Aspirin. When I get minor muscle aches, I just rub it in for fast relief that lasts for hours. And it's odor-free. Why live with pain? You're going to love it. Aspirin does not contain aspirin.
Now you can enjoy the favorite flavor of the Swiss, one freshly brewed cup at a time, with Folgers Chocolate Mocha Gourmet Coffee Singles. Rich coffee with a devilish hint of chocolate. Indulge yourself.
How much younger do you want to look? The choice is yours when you get rid of gray gradually with Grecian Formula 16. Just comb in this clear liquid and look what happens. Day by day, Grecian Formula replaces gray with natural-looking color, so you can decide exactly how much gray you want to lose. Stop and leave a little gray, or keep going till you lose all the gray. How much younger do you want to look? Grecian lets you decide. Liquid, cream, or convenient foam.
way we can. If homes and industries, power plants and vehicles would just switch to natural gas. Clean, economical, natural gas. Think what we'll save.
Reginald and Margaret Green returned today to Sicily, where a happy family vacation last year turned into a horrible tragedy. They didn't come back to mourn the loss of a son, but to see for themselves how his death there had meant life for others, and it changed the attitudes of an entire country. Alan Pizzi has our report.
To the strains of the Four Seasons, Vivaldi's Ode to Renewal, an American family came onto an Italian stage today to accept the accolades and thanks of people whose lives the organs of their murdered son had saved. Reginald and Margaret Green's 7-year-old son Nicholas was pronounced brain dead after Italian bandits shot up the family car last year. 7 people got his vital organs. Maria Padala was in a coma when Nicholas' liver was made available for transplant. Silvia Di Ciampi would be dead from diabetes had it not been for Nicholas' pancreas. The Green story stirred Italy to its soul, as did the tales of those saved. 15-year-old Andrea Mongiardi was still too ill to come today, but from his hospital bed he said of the boy whose heart he has, "I think he's looking at me." This man had a heart transplant that would have been out of the question until the example of what has come to be called the Nicholas effect. Italy had the lowest organ donor record in Europe. Donations have risen 20% since Nicholas died. But his effect has been more profound than that.
He has sent an electric charge through the human spirit, bringing us all face to face with the fragility of life and its preciousness.
Tino Mota could be a chirpy little 11-year-old today because he now has Nicholas' left kidney.
And so it's not as if a little child has died without ever achieving anything. You know, that's one of the terrible things about the death of a child. And so these people they've made the difference so that Nicholas has achieved something and will be remembered.
Streets and scholarships have been named after Nicholas, but the real monument is the dignity with which his parents and 4-year-old sister Eleanor have faced that most wrenching of tragedies, the death of a child. The next installment in the saga of Nicholas Green will be a movie. The family says it will be done in a truthful way. And if the story so far is anything to go by, the chances are good it will be just that. Truthful, and above all, moving. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Messina.
And that's the news. Tomorrow on Sunday Morning with Charles Osgood, a tribute to Broadway legend George Abbott, who died last week at the age of 107. Then on Face the Nation, the budget and the minimum wage. We'll talk with the White House economic advisor, Laura DeAndrea Tyson, Senate Republican Whip Trent Lott, and the House Appropriations Committee Chairman, Bob Livingston. I'm Bob Schieffer, CBS News, reporting tonight from Washington. Good night.
Experience CBS News.
The view is breathtaking. The course is backbreaking. The AT&T National Pro-Am continues tomorrow on CBS.
This is CBS.